Hello everybody, how we doing? Just thought I would do a little video, an information video really, because we do get asked quite a lot of questions about the trips that we run here from Teesside. If you haven't watched our videos before, we are a coach operator and we do these videos of the destinations just to give people a little bit of information. So the purpose of this video really, we get asked a lot of questions, say, which theme park or what attraction would you recommend for thrill seekers? Or you might say, my kids, they're only under 10. Which attraction would you recommend for our family? Things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at destinations for certain categories of, people, families, things like that. So we're going to look at things for younger families, things for mixed families where you'll have older and younger kids. We'll look at our Halloween events, Christmas events, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at attractions that we visit. So let's make that clear. It's going to be attractions that we visit on the coaches that we've visited in the past few years, or that we've got coming up in 2021. Okay, there is a lot of attractions that we maybe haven't visited yet, and we hope to visit those soon. But we're going to be looking at attractions that we have visited, so that obviously we've got that information. So there might be a few that you'll watch this and you'll say, oh well, that's miles better than this place. Well, leave a comment below and let us know, because we'd love to go and try and visit those places, okay? And you know what? It's always nice to get more information from yourself. So we're gonna have a look at different attractions, and we'll let you know what's maybe best for your family. So let's get going. Okay, so straight in at number 3, we have Legoland in Windsor. Now, before we start this one, I would say it would probably be our number 1, but as we are bearing this on coach trips, due to the distance, this trip might be a little bit too long for some children. So that's why we put it at number 3, just because of the travel distance. Having said that, there are a lot of kids that we've took to Legoland and the journey has been absolutely fine. So Legoland, amazing little theme park, obviously down in Windsor, just outside London. Loads for children to do, absolutely loads. And of course, it's all based around Lego. Don't need any introduction about Lego. You've got many rides there. So you've got rides based on Ninjago, you've got the Dragon roller coaster, you've got the water rapids, you've got the Duplo land, you've also got on one side of the park during the summer you have a water park that the kids can just go in. When I say water park, it's a splash park. It's not like a swimming pool, but it's one of those areas where they can run around and it's a lot of fun with the bucket that falls down on them and everything. So you do need to take kind of swimwear because they will get absolutely drenched. But obviously in the scorching weather, that's absolutely amazing. Obviously this year people had to book in, but obviously I think during, in 2020 people had to book in. But in normal standard times outside of COVID, I think you can just rock up and everybody's having a good time in the water. They also have events on during the time at Legoland. So they'll have Halloween events on, things for Christmas. It's a really great attraction. And as I say, it would be number 1 if it wasn't for just the travel distance, which kind of puts a small negative on it for some children who aren't the best at travelling, okay? So Legoland, number 3, great little theme park. As I say, for children aged kind of 12 and under, I would recommend. If there are older kids that like less intense rides, then this may be suitable for them. But I would say 12 and under is an ideal age for Legoland. There is also a new area opening in 2021 as well. Okay, so it's expanding as Merlin attractions tend to do. Okay. So number 2 that we have for a family attraction is Stockton Park. Now this is really on our doorstep. It's about an hour 20 from Teesside, and it's not a theme park. It doesn't have rides or anything. It's more of a outdoor park area. But there's plenty to do there, and the good thing about this, which you may see later on for our Halloween events, is it does have seasonal events as well, okay? So it's an outdoor play area. I would probably say it's ideal for kind of kids, 8 and under, not 10 and under. My daughter's 9, she still enjoys it. And basically what it is there is a circular path, and around that path there is about 8 different play areas. Sounds a bit intense, but they are actually really different play areas, and the kids really have a great time there. In the summer as well, they have outdoor inflatables, they have go-karts. In the winter they have ice skating. They have lots of different things going on. The Halloween event is amazing. I'm not going to touch on that now because I will discuss that later, but the Halloween event is great there, and the Christmas parade as well, that was great back in 2019. Unfortunately it couldn't run in 2020 due to COVID, but Stockwell Park, it's a great little great family attraction for kind of kids aged 10 and under, and it's a really good price as well. Now in 2021, I'm not sure of the exact opening date, but they are opening the largest indoor play area in Europe, so really looking forward to that. So that just adds to Stockwell Park, because the only thing with Stockwell Park is if it rains there's nowhere to go. So they've looked at that issue, they've solved it, and they've solved it beyond what you would expect. The biggest indoor play area in Europe, so that's going to be mega, and that's really going to tackle that issue. So number 2, Stockwell Park, great family attraction. Right, moving on to number 1 then. So number 1, we have Gulliver's Valley. Gulliver's Valley is a brand new theme park. It opened in 2020 in the middle of COVID, so that in itself is a big achievement, and it's aimed at children aged 12 and under. Now there's probably about I'd say between 20 and 30 rides there aimed at children between under the age of 12. It has an indoor area with a massive inflatable that the kids can play on, rock climbing, has some indoor rides, indoor golf, indoor soft play. So it tackles the rainy weather situation, but it also has outdoor rides. It has drop towers. Obviously these aren't extreme, these are for kids aged 12 and under. Drop towers, roller coasters, water rides, water slides. It's got everything really that you would want for a day out with younger children. And again, it's only on our doorstep. It's about an hour and a half away from us, so it's a short little coach ride, nice and achievable. Get on our coach, get there, have a lovely day. Whether it's raining or not, you can, as I say, there's things indoors and outdoors, and it's great value as well. So our number 1 attraction for younger children is Gulliver's Valley. Right, so next up is the best family attraction. So what we mean by this is the attraction for families of all ages. So you may have a 4-year-old and you may have a 14-year-old. So a mixture of different attractions that appeal to everybody. So at number 3 we have Chester Zoo. Now this obviously has no rides, but it is a great attraction. The biggest zoo in the UK. They obviously do a lot of work with conservation as well, so that's a big tick from us. And Chester Zoo, really, it's just a great zoo. I mean, there's no other way to put it really. It's a big zoo, so there's plenty to see. The animals look really well cared for, and you know, it's a really well kept zoo. I mean, you can go there. I've been there now about 10 times in the last 2 years, and genuinely every time I still do find little areas or little animals that I haven't seen before, so you can always explore there. From time to time they have seasonal events, so I've been there and they've had a seasonal Lego dinosaur display, seasonal Lego predators display. They do lots of different things during the season. So in the winter they have the lanterns attraction, I suppose you would call it, where you walk around the zoo and they've got lots of lanterns in the shapes of different animals, and that looks amazing. We've not actually, we were meant to go there this year, sorry, keep saying this year, 2020, but unfortunately that event didn't proceed as planned, so it was quite difficult to kind of get the times in there, but it does look absolutely amazing. And as I say, it's there are kind of things that you can do there as well, so you can you go and feed certain animals. You do have to pre-book all these kinds of things or be a zookeeper for a day, things like that, and you can find all that information on the website. But I absolutely love Chester Zoo. Oh, another thing actually, there is play areas around there as well. So if parents want a little bit of downtime, kids want to play, you can just sit yourself down, have a cup of coffee, have an ice cream, and watch the kids while they're playing at the play area. So there's the zoo element, but there is also little areas, that they kind of think about families and kids and how you like to, have a little bit of downtime while the kids are playing and things like that. So there is those elements there as well, and things like finger art where the kids can get a drawing done of the hand, and then an artist transforms it into their chosen animal. So like a zebra, an elephant, a lion, and it's really good actually. So Chester Zoo, number 3 on the list for us. So number 2 we have is Alton Towers. Now Alton Towers is a great theme park. It's got a great area for younger kids, and it has got a great area for older kids and adults as well. The reason it's not number 1 is because our number 1 does have more of a rounder, kind of more for adults and more for younger kids. It kind of appeals to everybody. But Alton Towers, for the younger kids, you've got CBeebies Land, great little land, probably about, 10-15 rides in there. You've got things like Postman Pat, you've got a Teletubbies show, you've got, I've got to think of it all now, Justin's house kind of area. So you've got lots of different things in there. What's it called? Octonauts, that's the other one. There's loads for the younger kids to do there, and they've got shows on during the day, so it is really good. And then they've got Cloud Cuckoo Land behind Alton Towers itself, which has had a bit of a refurbishment. You've got like the Lego driving school, and in 2021 this year there's also going to be the David Williams Gangster Granny ride. So they are adding a little bit things for younger children. However, it does have all the thrill rides as well. So it's got big roller coasters for the more daring kids, the 14-year-olds onwards, and adults as well. The only reason that it isn't number 1, as I say, is I would say that CBeebies Land, you could spend a day in there, but I think you'd kind of be stretched. I think there is more for older / teenagers / adults in the park than there is for kind of under 12s. If I was to say anything to kind of balance it out, they probably need a little bit more for the younger kids, just so that each of the age ranges can spend a full day in the park. So if you did just have younger kids, you could go spend a full day there. If you did just have older, then there's no problem at the moment, because you can spend a full day, just to be honest, queuing there for the older ride. So great park. They do have some good deals on there, believe it or not. Like when you can buy like a drink cup for £12 and you can refill it all day. Sounds a lot, but I mean, me and my family, we just share one, and you can refill it every 10 minutes. So if you think you would probably spend about £6 on a round of cold drinks, you only need 2 in a day, and if it's a hot day, you can just fill it about 5-6 times. Obviously there is sugar-free options available and everything like that. You don't want to be sugaring them all up. So it's great little theme park, and the rides are really top quality as well. It's clean, and you can see it is a top rated theme park in the UK. Moving on to number 1. Our number 1 theme park for families, for all round families, is Flamingo Land. The reason we chose this, again, it does have a little bit of an advantage because it is closer to home, so we do put a little bit of a weighting on travel. So Alton Towers is about 3.5 hours away. Flamingo Land, it's about just over an hour, so it has that bonus. It's on our doorstep, but it does have big rides, and it also has smaller rides for the younger kids as well. Okay, it's great. I mean, I grew up with this theme park with my family. We used to go there for holidays. But you've got big rides like Kumali, you've got Mumbo Jumbo, you've got the new roller coaster which is due to open in 2021, you've got the Drop Towers Cliffhanger, you've got Hero, so you've got plenty for the older kids / adults, and then you've got things for the younger kids. So you've got like the dinosaur themed area, you've got the shows, you've got the zoo. You've even got, if you went there on holiday, you've got the kind of resort area with swimming pools and play areas and things like that. And there is the arcades as well. You know, everybody likes the arcades, so there's plenty to do at Flamingo Land, and it does get a little bit of a pip above Alton Towers because of the closer distance, and it's more of an all-rounder. You could spend all day there with younger kids, and you could spend all day there with your teenagers and adults, so you can do both in that theme park. Whereas Alton Towers, I think you struggle with the younger kids to spend a full day there and really not bore the younger kids. So Flamingo Land takes it number 1 on our theme parks for families. Okay, so in at number 3 we have Flamingo Land, obviously just mentioned there. I won't go into too much detail, but it does have some great thrill rides, and obviously the brand new roller coaster which is due to open this year in 2021. Obviously, previously mentioned, you've got Kimali, you've got Drop Towers, you've got the Mumbo Jumbo, you've got, what's it called? Velocity, which is a launch roller coaster. You've got plenty there for thrill seekers. As I say, more coming in 2021. Okay, moving on to number 2. So number 2 we have Thorpe Park. Now, it was a close, tight decision between Thorpe Park and our number 1 choice. Thorpe Park, first time I went there this year for Halloween, and that was absolutely amazing. Really enjoyed myself there. It is slightly small. Well, it is definitely smaller in actual size than Alton Towers, but I actually think that's an advantage because it's a lot easier to get between the rides. Alton Towers, sometimes you can walk 5-10 minutes between the big rides, where at Thorpe Park it's a lot more compact. And I think that works in its favour. But it does have some great rides. It has my favourite ride in the UK, which is Stealth, which is a launch roller coaster. Launches you up hundreds of feet in the air and you just come back down. It literally lasts about 10 seconds, if that. But it's great. The buzz of the launch, the excitement of the vertical track, and then you just come down vertical as well. I mean, it's great. And it's got some different roller coasters there as well. You've got Swarm, which is it has arms outside of the track, and then on these arms you sat down. So normally you're obviously in a narrow carriage, but this is slightly different, and you have near misses, and it's a great little roller coaster. Have a look at that one if you haven't seen it before, or you can check out our vlog on our YouTube channel, which you are watching this on now. I'll put the links in comments below for all of these different vlogs as well. But yeah, so there's plenty of thrill rides at Thorpe Park. There's plenty of roller coasters. You've got Stealth, Swarm, you've got Saw. It's a great little theme park for thrill seekers. We are actually, if you are based in Teesside, putting on a trip to Thorpe Park and Alton Towers, which is another another great theme park for thrill rides. So if you're interested in that, drop us a message or a comment below, and we will get back to you. So that's a great little theme park. But yeah, Thorpe Park, number 2 in our thrill seekers theme parks. So moving on to number 1. So number 1, I just commented on it there, didn't I, by mistake. But number 1 is Alton Towers. Has some great roller coasters there. Smiler, love Smiler. Wicker Man is my favourite. Different people like different types of roller coasters, don't they? I like Wicker Man because of the theming, so it uses all these senses. I like the music in the queue. I like the smell of the wicker in the pre-ride lobby kind of thing. I love the ride itself. It's very fast, and I love the Wicker Man central point on the roller coaster in the night time when that's all lit up with the flames. I can't think of any better kind of roller coaster in the UK for theming, so I love that. And you do have, obviously, as I say, you've got Smiler, you've got Oblivion, you've got Rita, you've got some 13, you've got some great roller coasters there that you can really enjoy and re-ride all day. Nemesis, of course, one of the best roller coasters in the UK. So it's a great theme park for thrill rides. The only downside with Alton Towers is in the summer, those queues are just crazy. You're looking at a minimum of an hour up to sometimes 2.5 hours, which is just crazy, and it's all day as well. And just like, you know, a lot of Merlin attractions, they do try and get more money out of you by getting the fast passes, which I really don't agree with, but it is what it is, isn't it? But Alton Towers, number one choice for thrill rides in the UK. Right, so moving on to our next category, which is the best zoos in the UK. So number 3, we have Edinburgh Zoo. Great little zoo. It's a little bit smaller than some of the other zoos that we visited, but it is very good quality still. So you've got, I think it's the only zoo in the UK with pandas, so there's a massive draw. Has penguins there that can they walk out and do a little parade, so they're actually out of their enclosure and walking through the crowd, or at least they were a few years ago. Obviously last year was a little bit different because of COVID. So they do like little penguin walks, things like that. Got lovely play areas there. The only downside is, as I say, the terrain. It is very hilly there. I would say, you know, if you're less mobile, to try and avoid it. And if you are in a wheelchair, to consider the person that might be pushing yourself as well, because it can be extremely tiring for them as well, because it is a very hilly zoo. But it's an enjoyable zoo. In at number 3 there. In at number 2, we have West Midlands Safari Park. Now, it's called a safari park. It's still a zoo, so it's still in this category. The reason it's a safari park is because you can drive through the enclosures with the animals, but there is also a walk-in zoo as well. Okay, so first of all, the drive-through element, I mean, it's great. I mean, we drove through on a coach, of course, our coach trips from Teesside. But you can see the animals right close up next to you. You know, you go through these enclosures and they're literally just there, right next to you. Great views, and what a kind of a nice little gimmick to be able to do. So you drive, you can do that. That can take, you know, an hour or 2 hours. But then once you've actually drove through the safari element as well, there is a theme park / zoo that you can go to. This is ideal, I would say, for kids 12 and under. There is but there's probably about, I'd say, about 10 rides there, and there's also animal exhibitions in West Midlands Safari Park. It's very clean. You can see the animals are looked after, and you can easily spend a day there. We went there and it was scorching hot. We had the best day. On that trip, I didn't take my family. I was a bit gutted. So we're hoping to get my family there this year in 2021. But it's a great little zoo and theme park, and I would recommend, really, you know, you can go with the older kids because they will love the safari side of it. The rides are more for the younger kids, I would say. There is a few that might appeal to kind of teenagers, but I would probably say 14 and under you're quite safe with, if the 14 and unders like animals. If the 14 and unders don't like animals, I would probably say not recommended for them in the ride sense. And with the 12 to 10 and under, you're going to have a really good day there no matter what, because you'll have the animals and the ride. So great little safari / theme park / zoo in there at number 2. So let's move on to number 1. I've discussed it already in a previous ranking, but it's Chester Zoo, isn't it? I'm not going to discuss it again. Chester Zoo, number 1 zoo for me. It's got everything. So it's got the animals, they're well looked after. They have a conservation project. They've got the play areas. You know, they've got everything. It's massive. You can spend a full day there, always exploring, always discovering. Great theme park. I'm not going to elaborate over it again, because we've already done so in the previous ranking. What is it? Ranking? I don't know. Let's move on. Right, so on to Halloween events. Okay, so we have it's a tough choice for Halloween because there is a lot of great events for Halloween. I've classed this as Halloween / autumn because there are a few other things. Well, there is one other thing that kind of goes on as a collective that can't be really ignored. So we're going to start it off at number 4. So in at number 4 we have Blackpool Illuminations. Now, this is always a really popular trip of ours, and it's just a great little place, Blackpool. It has many attractions as a whole in that place, but a lot of people go there obviously to see the lights on the evening, so they're very impressive. Obviously, there's a few mile of them as you walk down the promenade, and you can see them everywhere, and it's lovely. The kids really enjoy it, and you can't really fault that. We normally do like 3-day trips there, so you get 2 nights, 3 days, so you can go enjoy them 2 nights. But you've got everything there, and you've got the lights on the night time, you've got the arcades on the night time that you can just pop in and out of while the kids play, and then you've got all the attractions. You've got Blackpool Tower that you can go up at the night time and look down on the illuminations, Blackpool Circus, Blackpool Dungeons, Sea Life Centre, Madame Tussauds, Blackpool Pleasure Beach. There's everything at Blackpool, so you can just pick and choose the kind of things that appeal to you. But it's really enjoyable during that half term, I find. I don't know, the dark nights just add to the atmosphere, which is always something that I really enjoy. Night times and lights kind of rate up there for me. So number 4 is Blackpool Illuminations as a whole. So moving on to number 3 for Halloween, we have Stockton Park. Now, I mentioned it earlier. I'm not going to go into the details of the standard thing that they offer, but at Halloween, it's really good. So, as standard, back in 2019, didn't run the full event this year, last year in 2020, but back in 2019, you'll walk around the path that I mentioned earlier and have all these great, lovely lights on the evening that you can admire, and then there's a big fountain at the end in a lake, and they have a big show on there. And then also during the day, you have the witches around the path, so the friendly witches. So if there's any kids watching, they're friendly, they're not mean, they're not horrible to you. There's witches, and you go interact with them, and they'll tell you stories and give you stamps if you're trying to collect something, depending on the event. But they're really convincing looking, they're really good looking witches, and there's some props around the place, like a little cottage, and there's a cauldron in the middle and things. So the Halloween event is really good, and then you can go pick pumpkins, carve pumpkins, and then they've got Nordic skiing. I mean, it's a great event. Hopefully that'll obviously be back to normal in 2021, and the full thing will be running. And then, as mentioned earlier, there's also going to be the biggest indoor play area in Europe as well, so they'll probably theme that in some sort of Halloween way, and there'll be Halloween things going on in there. So really looking forward to Stockton Park. I think it's quite exciting what they can achieve in 2021 post-COVID with this new kind of indoor area, because when it pours down there and there's nowhere to go, it really does dampen your day. But now they've literally tackled that issue, you know, with a big play area, indoor play area. So now there's no stopping them really. So we'll move on to number 2 and number 1. Number 2, it was really difficult decision, this one. Number 2 is Alton Towers. Now again, it was difficult between this one and our number 1, but Alton Towers, great Halloween event. So they have their standard offering, which I've mentioned earlier, with the great rides, the thrill rides, and then the CBeebies Land for the younger kids. But then in Halloween, they have these added elements. So they have Halloween shows for the younger kids in CBeebies Land and on the main lawn. They also have actors walking around, or dance crews walking around, you know, in Halloween costumes, interacting with the guests, which is always great. And then they also have the scare mazes as well. So the the scare mazes it'll have some sort of theme. So like this year, for example, there was a junkyard one this year. So you're walking around a junkyard, and then actors are jumping out and scaring you. Now it's great. They have different levels of scariness, different mazes that you can pick from depending how much you want to be scared, and it's great. Very convincing. You get into the atmosphere, and those mazes are really great. You also have, which you don't really get during, well, you don't get during the summer, is nighttime rides. So I think theme parks in general are 10 times better at night time. I love the lighting, love the smoke that you'll see, whether natural or pre-made. I love the smoke, the atmosphere. It's just great at night time, and you can do your nighttime rides because, as I say, it's open till 9 o'clock. You've also got little props around the park, so you'll have pumpkins, you'll have there's a hearse at the entrance. It's just a really great theme park at Halloween, and it was really difficult not to put this one at number one, but it's just preference really between this and my number one, and I'll explain more now. So Alton Towers, number 2 for Halloween attraction. So moving on to number 1. So here we are, number 1 we have is Thorpe Park. Now, obviously this was mentioned earlier, so I won't go over everything, but Thorpe Park generally is a thrill ride theme park, but during the, this is also a Merlin Park, which is the same owners as Alton Towers, so you can see similarities here, but I just think, Thorpe Park just pips it just a little bit, and I'll tell you why now. So, you have the standard offering, you have the rides, but you also have the mazes, which is exactly the same as Alton Towers. They're all themed, all different scare levels, and obviously the actors that come out and scare you, and you can just really immerse yourself in those scare mazes. But something that I really enjoyed this year that Alton Towers didn't have was scare zones. So you would walk into a particular area and they would say you're walking into this zone, and it's just a normal part of the theme park. You don't have to pay extra for it, and you'll have loads of actors in that area. So for example, there was an area where it was kind of a carnival, kind of freak carnival, and there was loads of weird looking people from carnivals, and they were getting up close to you, and the music was really eerie. And then there was another area which was like a hillbilly area where hillbillies are chasing after you with chainsaws. And then there was like a high school area where everybody was dressed in the American high school gear, but there were like zombies, and occasionally they would break out into dance and things, and it was really, really, really good. And that was free, and Alton Towers don't offer that kind of thing for free. You have to pay for the mazes. You have to pay for the mazes at Thorpe Park, but you have these scare zones which were free. So that's really what pipped it. And again, Alton Towers, as mentioned, it's so big and so open that sometimes you walk in between kind of attractions, and it's just nothingness. Whereas at Thorpe Park, because it's so condensed, you're always walking through some sort of theming, and again that's a positive. That was really good, really enjoyed it. And then obviously as it starts to get darker, the atmosphere just gets even better. Eerie, the smoke, the light, obviously the actors that are going around, and it's just really, really good. We are doing a trip here in Halloween in 2021, a 2-day trip, so you can really enjoy that atmosphere. So if you are interested, drop us a message, comment below, and we'll get back to you. But yeah, absolutely amazing Halloween event at Thorpe Park. So yeah, that's our number 1. Next up, we have our Christmas attractions. So straight in at number 3. So number 3, we have Beamish. Beamish is on our doorstep. It's about 45 minutes away from Teesside, and I love Beamish. It's a lovely day out, relaxed day out, but during the Christmas period there's a few extra bits and bobs that are on that just make it that little bit extra special. So if you haven't been to Beamish, it's a living museum, and what we mean by that is that obviously it has all of the artifacts, all of the buildings of a museum, but it also has actors in the museum that will tell you about the times, tell you the things that they got up to during those times, and interact with you and answer questions and things like that. So it's great. During the Christmas period they have decorations up, and they do have little different things going on, like brass bands. They'll have Christmas cooking in one of the kitchens where you can sample and watch how they made things. They have the fair down on the field where they'll change the theme in a little bit, so it's a little bit more Christmassy, and they'll have an ice ring down there and things. So it's a great little attraction during Christmas. But the main thing is the Christmas launch parade, which we go to every year. They cancelled it for 2020, but I'm sure it will return for 2021. And basically that is the opening of the museum for the Christmas period, and have all of the olden vehicles that go around on the road that goes around Beamish, and they have Santa Claus on one of the vehicles as well, and it's a nice little display, and they have brass bands and Christmas food, and it's a lovely day out. So highly recommend the Christmas launch parade for Beamish if you can make it in 2021. We will be running a trip there, so check out our website for that information. But yeah, other things that are there at Beamish, it's basically segmented into different areas. So you've got like the pit village, early pit village, you've got like the farm, you've got the town where you've got like the dentist and the sweet maker, and they are building a new 1950s area as well, which I believe should be open. I think it was meant to be open last year, but everything that's going on, hopefully it will open this year. But Beamish, great little attraction for Christmas, in at number 3 there. Moving on to number 2, our number 2 destination is Stockeld Park. Similar to the Halloween events, they do tend to do their events quite well. They do have a Christmas launch parade, usually involving reindeers that go around the path. They'll have Santa that you can go and see. They'll have some Christmas, maybe a Christmas show that's going on, and then you've still got all the play areas, the skiing, the ice rink, Christmas music. You've got everything going on there for Christmas. It's on our doorstep again, just around about the hour and a half mark, and it's a great little attraction during Christmas. Definitely up there, number 2 on our Christmas attraction countdown. So that moves us on to number 1. Number 1 has to be Winter Wonderland in Hyde Park. Now, this event is massive in comparison to the 2 previous ones. It's in our capital, it's in the big park in our capital, and therefore it's a large event. Probably between 10 and 20 rides there. Decent rides as well. I think it's got the biggest travelling roller coaster that goes there. So they've got roller coasters, they've got drop towers, they've got these, the flat rides that are on axles that you're spinning in the air everywhere. But the main thing really is the atmosphere. You've got Christmas music going on, you've got all of the Christmas food, like endless amounts of it. You've got Christmas shows, you've got ice bars, you've got professional shows like ice skating shows, like Paddington was there in 2019. There's just endless amounts of things there, and you can easily spend a day there. You can probably easily spend £1,000 there, to be honest, as well, but it is quite expensive. But certainly I think, one of those things that you save up for to kind of visit once in a few years is definitely worth visiting. The rides are about £5 to go on, which I think is actually, for some of the rides, it's not too bad a price. I mean, it is expensive, but you're getting some great views of London, you're in a great atmosphere, it's worth paying for. So it's a really good attraction, definitely recommended. We have got trips going there in the winter. We've already got 3-day trips to London where you can go visit this attraction, and we will drop you off there for one of those 3 days as well. So if you're interested in that trip, again, just drop us a message or comment below, and that kind of wraps everything up. If you have had any questions about any of the attractions, or if you want us to create a new category for you, then we'll be happy to do that. But hope you've enjoyed the countdown. It gives you a little bit of an insight into kind of what kind of trip might be best for you and why. And hopefully we will see you on our trips very soon. You can check out our website, which is myfamilyoutings.co.uk. Or you can check our Facebook page out, which is Family Outings Northeast, and all of the information is on those pages. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and we will see you again soon. Bye.